All right, so yeah, as Erin said, I'm Julia Colbert, and or Molly, you can introduce yourself.
I'm Molly Cashion.
And I'm a graduate student in the School of Sustainability, and Molly is a program manager for the Sustainability Teachers Academy, which is what we'll be discussing today.
So the Sustainability Teachers Academy was started about 6 years ago from a grant. It ended up being 2 grants, one from Rob and Melanie Walton and one from Wells Fargo. And what we do is we promote sustainability science and action through sustainability projects and professional development training for K through 12 educators, and not just science educators, but also, we've had librarians, social studies, physical education teachers, whole gamut, trying to implement sustainability science and practice into their schools. Our objective is for every year, we should be training approximately 80 teachers from all 50 states, and on top of that, 25 teachers just from Arizona. And to date, we have trained about 1,100. It's a little bit more than that teachers total, and all of these, up until this point, have been in-person workshops. And just, probably like most of y'all, we're working on transitioning our current summer workshops into online formats. But up until now, all of these teachers have been face-to-face with me or Julia or Rob, my colleague.
So today we're going to be talking about my student worker experience with the Sustainability Teachers Academy and how Molly and I worked together to transform a typical student worker position into a very socially embedded internship.
Before we advance the slide, actually, I just wanted to point out that picture at the bottom there was actually, not only did we create a student worker position into an internship for Julia, but she also used the position in the academy to do her undergraduate thesis work. And if you'll look at this picture down here, the Circles of Sustainability was a whole toolkit that she developed based on the Green Schools. I can't remember what it's called. Julia?
Green Schools National Network.
Yes, their metrics. And so she created the Circles of Sustainability, with which teachers still use to this day to assess sustainability in their schools.
Thanks, Molly. All right, so first, kind of some of my perspective. So in past kind of typical student worker positions I had at ASU, a lot of it was usually my day looked like sitting at a desk, maybe doing data entry, answering emails, not really socially embedded at all, though I was still getting good experience and loved working at ASU. So when I heard about the Teachers Academy from one of my professors who connected me to Molly, I was already very excited that I would have the opportunity to work with some teachers and do curriculum development. So my first kind of few months working with them, about 3 or 4 years ago, I did a lot of curriculum development and was able to host a couple of the summer workshops. And then during those workshops where we trained, I think that summer, about 100 teachers, I got so excited that I was like, Molly, I want to have some sort of internship or continue working with you during the school year. And she was like, great, let's do it. So we spoke to the internship coordinator in the School of Sustainability, Caroline Saval, who helped us kind of rewrite the script for my position to be more involved with Molly. So whenever I would be helping more with the regional academies and actually helping to co-plan and co-facilitate one of the regional academies in Charlotte in the spring of my senior year. So how that changed the student worker role was that I was actually on all the calls with our community partner Envision Charlotte in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was helping with some of the logistics. I was helping recruit teachers and do all of the kind of planning for the speaking and the conference. And so then I actually was able to travel to Charlotte with Molly and host the conference for, I think, 20 or 30 teachers there. And we had a chef come cook, and we had this awesome kind of space that was being reused. And I was able to experience what social embeddedness looked like both at ASU and in another state completely. And then I've been able to take my experience working with the Teachers Academy and apply it to my professional life, and that I didn't really know before working there that sustainability education was a thing. And now that's what I've changed my whole career to pursue.
Awesome. Awesome. So this is my perspective. And so just to start out with, I love pictures. Pictures tell 1,000 words, as we all know. And this picture is Julia doing the you know, two strong arms because she's very strong. And that's our colleague, Rob, who is also instrumental in helping to develop out the internship position. So for me, it was, I really appreciated Julia coming to us because part of the ASU mission is that we should always be helping students to realize what their passions are and what they're trying to do. So I was really glad to be a part of kind of pushing forward the ASU mission and providing a unique learning opportunity for her. And on top of that, through this, I learned a lot, and I think Rob learned a lot about the advantages of student work on not just the individual projects, but on the program as a whole. And since then, the student positions that we've had have evolved a lot. And so now we have almost no, students are not doing almost any of the like menial tasks, like working with spreadsheets and stuff. They're an integral part of our team, and they help us develop probably 90% of our content and deliver content to teachers and get feedback from teachers and things like that. And then finally, I think one of the cool things about Education for Sustainability, which I'm not sure how many of you know, but a big part of it is that it should be primarily student-driven and student-led. It's a very, it's not just education about sustainability, so we're not just learning about the things that are happening in the world, but we're trying to focus all of our energies into creating moment by moment this future that we want. And so having Julia on as an intern and developing this position and developing the other student positions to be more in alignment this way, I think aligns really well with the Education for Sustainability values that we're trying to practice with teachers, and it's nice to have that practiced internally as well.
So some of our reflections from this experience of co-creating this position together is that it's, for me, I've realized how important it is for ASU staff to be really open and flexible to adapting student positions. Molly and I know that not all positions can be adapted this way, like some positions are written as they are, and that's all right. But if you work in an office or a space where you have some flexibility with working with your students, ask them what they want to do, provide them with opportunities, even if I remember my first day of work at the Teachers Academy, everybody was planning for the Sustainability Solutions Festival, and they let me sit in on a meeting with them and help kind of come up with some ideas. And even that kind of tone that they set for the whole experience of working with them was so positive, and that I knew I was part of the team and that they valued my perspective. And so because from the beginning I knew that they did, I was able to work with Rob and Molly to create this type of position. Whereas if I'd been in a position where I wasn't able to share those types of thoughts with them, it would have been a lot harder to create this position. So I really valued their openness and flexibility.
Yeah, and I think that for me, I just like, it really, I'm not sure of the word I'm looking for exactly, but it kind of brings home that point to me of treating student workers as part of the community through recognizing their value in our existing program. So our social embeddedness is not just with the community of Phoenix or the community that we're working with, but the ASU community as well, and treating them as valuable partners. And this picture is, Julia and I wrote several lessons together for our workshops, and this is a picture of someone reflecting during one of the activities that we co-developed.
Which was always very fun. Yeah. So some suggestions from us for any staff or faculty that are interested in making student worker positions or any type of student position more socially embedded is to first, off the bat, really identify and explore some of the unique knowledge, skills, and experiences that your student workers can bring to your team. So like, for example, because I and many of the student workers at the Teachers Academy are sustainability or education students, we have lesson planning experience already. We know so much about sustainability, and a lot of the times the skill we need to develop is presenting and public speaking and those types of things. So make sure you're leveraging what your students bring to the table and then help them grow throughout their experience working. And then if you have any existing social embeddedness efforts like the Sustainability Solutions Festival I already mentioned, and then all of our academies and everything, make sure you bring your student workers into those things that are already happening. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, just like Molly said, kind of leverage their place in the community to give them more opportunities.
Yeah, and I think part of it for us was also like, we wanted to explicate the values of our program to understand students on staff can best collaborate. So it was kind of like taking a step back and looking kind of again at like, what are the values of Education for Sustainability? And just as an example, the way we run our meetings now is that we kind of lay out a list of all the things that we have to do, including the menial tasks, and then students and staff get to pick kind of which ones that they want. And it's been great because our whole team is so motivated that everybody takes on something. We even have a student that like loves spreadsheets now, and so she like always wants the spreadsheets. It's like, but okay, you can do that. And then also being open to suggestions from students and trying new projects with them. Because that can be really hard sometimes. Luckily we were pretty early on in our program, and so it was still kind of forming and trying to understand how we're putting things together. But I was really open to Julia's suggestions and how to reframe the program in this way.
Great, and that is it. Thank you so much for listening to our lightning talk, and here's our contact information if you want to reach out to us about any questions or comments you have about the session.